Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to completely deconstruct what is, without a doubt, the single most disrespected exercise in all of fitness. Yep, we're talking about the push-up. You know, people kind of treat the push-up like it's just a simple warm-up, right? Like some sort of punishment from middle school gym class, or maybe something you just outgrow once you start lifting heavy weights. But think about it for a second. Gymnasts, they never stop doing push-ups. Pro fighters, they never stop. Special forces literally never stop. People whose lives and livelihoods actually depend on having real, functional upper body strength, they do push-ups forever. But most of us are stuck in this weird paradox. We're putting in the physical effort, sweating it out, but when we actually look at the mechanics of what we're doing, we're just not getting any stronger. Okay, let's dive into this. Because if you were to drop down and do a push-up right now, literally just one rep, the odds are it would be mechanically wrong. And hey, it's really not your fault. We all learned this exact same movement from a PE teacher when we were, 12 years old? We never corrected it, and every single rep you've done since then has just cemented that bad habit. Well, today, we're gonna undo all of that. So here is the hard truth of the matter. 95% of people do this exercise with the exact same broken form. I mean, it's the identical bad form, practiced for thousands of reps, year after year, completely exposed for everyone to see. And honestly, because nobody really thinks a basic movement like a push-up actually needs correcting, well, nobody ever fixes it.
But this whole ignorance is bliss thing, it is costing you heavily. Your current form basically makes every single rep you do only about 30% as effective as it actually should be. Let that sink in. That means you are putting in 100% of the work, you're totally exhausting yourself, and you're only walking away with a third of the results. It's a massive waste of effort, it's completely stalling your chest growth, and as you'll see in a second, it is slowly, quietly wrecking your joints.
So we're gonna fix this broken push-up and unlearn those years of bad habits. There are 5 specific errors we're gonna tackle today. Fix these and you'll completely transform the push-up into the absolute most effective upper body movement you can do anywhere, no gym required. First things first, we need to talk about saving your shoulders. We've got to look at the mechanics, and specifically, we need to expose the silent killer of this exercise. All right, let's start from the ground up to keep you injury-free. If you were to look at yourself from above during a standard push-up, your body probably makes a big T shape. Your arms are straight out to the sides, right? Now, this feels really natural to most people, and honestly, it feels kind of powerful. But it is actively shredding your rotator cuff. At that flared, wide angle, your upper arm bone is literally jamming straight into the front of your shoulder socket. Every single rep, that weird popping or grinding you feel, yeah, that's your tendons physically getting pinched between bones. Ouch. To safely activate the chest, you absolutely must tuck your elbows in to about 45 degrees to form an arrow shape instead. You're actually way stronger in this position, you'll get significantly more chest activation, and that horrible grinding pain totally disappears. Because if you ignore this, it just gets worse over time. One day, your shoulder just stops cooperating, and suddenly you're sitting in a physio's office wondering what on earth went wrong. I actually want to slow down here for a second, because this right here is the silent killer. At the very bottom of the rep, people have this tendency to let their shoulders dump forward. It creates this slow, invisible grind on the rotator cuff. You can even feel it happening at first. There's no sharp pain, no immediate red flag, just thousands of reps of slow, steady joint degradation. Let's break down exactly what that silent killer looks like mechanically. At the bottom of the movement, the front of your shoulder collapses right past your wrist line. Your shoulder blades start winging off your back, and suddenly your super delicate rotator cuff is left holding all this unnatural body weight in a position it was just never built to support. This specific error doesn't just cost you muscle growth, it literally costs you your shoulders. The fix? It's actually a super simple visualization. Pull your shoulder blades together and down. Just imagine you are physically pulling your shoulder blades right into your back pockets. That's the feeling you want. Now that we've saved your joints, let's shift gears to activating your chest and core and plugging up some massive energy leaks. You know, most people think the push-up is just an arm exercise, but your torso acts as a vital bridge for pushing force, and this brilliantly illustrates why your chest still looks the exact same no matter how many push-ups you do. Watch someone do a push-up at the gym. Their arms move, their body goes up and down, but their shoulder blades remain completely frozen. Here's the thing, your chest muscle actually needs your shoulder blades to slide forward to fully contract. If those blades don't move, it acts exactly like a parking brake. Your chest never gets to fully squeeze, which means every single rep is just a partial rep, and every set you do is basically half a set. To fix this, you have to actively push the floor away from you at the top of the rep until your upper back slightly rounds. But hey, it's not just about the shoulder blades. We also have to talk about the core. Look at the massive difference between the wet noodle and the steel beam. An unbraced, soft position, where your hips are sagging and your lower back is totally dipping, that is an energy leak, and it is massive. When your core is hanging loose like a hammock, all your pressing force just escapes right through your midsection instead of driving down into the floor. You're basically pushing against a wet noodle. Instead, you need to become the steel beam. Squeeze your glutes hard and brace your core like you're about to get punched right in the stomach. Lock the body, unlock the results. Simple as that. All right, moving on to the rep ego trap and exactly why doing 50 super fast push-ups means absolutely nothing. This is the exact moment where we separate the people who just do push-ups from the people who actually change their bodies with them. Let's call out the reality of what a 50 rep speed set actually is, okay? Dropping down with gravity and just bouncing off the floor, that isn't training. That is literally just falling and catching yourself 50 times. Momentum is doing all the heavy lifting and your actual muscles are barely involved at all. This is exactly why people can bang out these huge, impressive numbers at parties but still have a completely flat chest. So the crucial point is a concept called time under tension. This is the exercise science principle that changes literally everything. Time under tension is the duration your muscle is placed under active strain during a set, and it dictates muscle growth far, far more than your total rep count ever will. Your routine keeps failing because you've been chasing numbers. But guess what? Your muscles don't know how to count reps. They only register tension. 10 slow, highly controlled reps will always, always build more muscle than 50 fast, bouncy ones. Let's walk through the exact timing of a true muscle-building repetition. At 0 seconds, you start a very slow, highly controlled descent. It should take you 3 full seconds to reach the bottom, where your chest simply hovers. Not resting on the floor, but hovering, pausing for a solid second. Then, at 4 seconds, you finally begin pushing back up against gravity. And at 6 seconds, you complete one single repetition. I know your ego desperately wants the high number, I totally get it, but I promise you, your chest wants this tension. All right, let's bring it all together for the perfect push-up. This is your ultimate 10-second mental checklist. We've covered a ton of ground today, so let's pull all 5 of these mechanical fixes together into a rapid-fire sequence that you can use right now to completely transform your upper body. I want you to memorize this sequence. Step 1. Place your hands just outside your shoulders, spread your fingers, and form that arrow shape with your elbows tucked at 45 degrees. Step 2. Squeeze those glutes and brace your core into that solid steel beam. Step 3. Lower yourself for 3 agonizing seconds, actively pulling your shoulder blades down into your back pockets so your shoulders stay safely behind your hands. And finally, step 4. Push up, and at the very top, physically push the floor away from you, spreading your shoulder blades and slightly rounding your upper back to fully squeeze the chest. Remember, 5 real perfect reps using this exact checklist will completely beat 30 fake ones every single time. Right now, you actually know more about the mechanics of the push-up than 99% of the people walking into any commercial gym. So what does this all mean? Well, I'm gonna leave you with this final provocative question. If you step away from this explainer, drop down to the floor right now, and apply every single mechanical fix we just discussed, can you survive just one perfect rep? Test it out. Experience the incredible difference in your chest and your shoulders for yourself. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer. Keep learning, keep pushing, and we'll see you next time.